Okay, welcome to the monthly WebEx on the EWS and the Career Solutions and Info Bar. This is a monthly WebEx that we do for existing customers, for new customers, for internal sales and support. And I'm going to be covering first the EWS system, and this is a warehousing system that is very closely integrated with Exchequer. It handles the goods in, the goods out, the stock take-in and stock transfers, and the new works order module as well. As well as that, then we move on to the Courier Pro, which is the courier plugin that can work inside of EWS. When you're dispatching an order, it can link to the couriers to print off the label instantly. And that's one plugin that works with about 16 different courier companies and is growing all the time. That can be purchased separately and used within Exchequer itself or as a standalone application. And then to finish, we have another plugin called Info Bar that will, in the next version, link with EWS to show dispatch information on a large screen or on the bar itself. But as well as that, it can link to Exchequer information. I've loaded Exchequer software, the latest version, so you can see the end result. But to use any of this software that I'm going to show you, you don't necessarily have to have Exchequer open. So it can be that you're saving a license or a license that was used in the warehouse. You don't need it anymore. You can use the EWS licenses. So I'm going to load the EWS system, and as you can see, you can have a multi-company manager similar to Exchequer, where you can create some different profiles which can link to different companies in Exchequer, or they can actually link to the same company in Exchequer, but maybe you've got different branches that use a completely different set of settings. If you've just got one company, then you don't see the multi-company manager at all. We're then going to log in, and the licensing for EWS is separate to Exchequer. So if you've only got a few people in the warehouse, then you don't need to buy 20 or 30 licenses that you've got on Exchequer. You just buy the licenses that you need for your warehouse environment, and the licensing depends on how many computers are concurrently using EWS or how many of the Windows mobile scanners that you've got. So whatever's the higher number would be your license count. So on this system, I've got 3 user license, so I could log in on 3 different machines at the same time, and I could also have up to 3 of the Windows scanners. So I'm going to log into the software, and to set up other users in the system, we go to Utilities, System Setup, and then Passwords. So fairly similar menu structure to Exchequer there. And in here, we can create all of our users that we need. And users can be PC users, but they can also be handheld users. So you could set up some of the handheld operators on there. They don't need to use the PC, so you just make them a handheld user here, and you can say what modules they can go into on the handheld. So they would log in on the Windows scanner to maybe book some orders out or book some orders in. So they can log in, or they can scan their login from badges. As well as that, there's a vast array of flexibility in the software for each user. You can say what settings you want to turn on or off per user, and each of the modules going across. So for example, on the goods out manager, the GOM, we can see buttons and we can see columns that we want to disable per user. And you can see it's quite a lot of options there, and you can copy these options. So if you've got a template in place for a warehouse operator, you can copy those profiles across, and it copies all the settings going across to different users. So there's a lot of flexibility, and it's quite easy to understand. If you, on the main screen, if you've got a button called Excel, that you didn't want someone to look at, or find button or notes, you can quite easily find it in this section to turn it off. And as well as that, there's a vast array of options here per user. If you didn't want all users to see all of the orders based on your workflow that you've created on the goods in or the goods out, or the works orders, you can turn those off. If you don't want users to see any orders from maybe the engineer stock or the maintenance department, then they could be filtered out. So when you look at the daybook, you just see the orders that you want them to see. Maybe you've got a different branch, a company branch that lists orders for that company only. So you only want them to see those orders. So you can do a lot of filtering there on location or department codes or cost centers. You can even have a list of account codes that that person is allowed to see, or excluded account codes that they don't want them to see, based on an external text file that you would maintain somewhere. Or you can even do filtering on the user-defined fields, so transaction user-defined field or account user-defined field, matching a particular string, or by tag number. So if you wanted that user to see tag 4, tag 7, tag 1, or tag 99, then you can put that in there. They would only see those tag numbers on the daybook. Okay, so that's where we create users in the system, and you've seen the amount of flexibility there is in the user creation. We're going to start off with the goods in. So we're going to book some goods in from purchase orders. I've created some purchase orders today. So we go into the goods in manager, and we do refresh, and this lists all of the outstanding purchase orders on the system, on the Exchequer system. We can sort these columns to sorting order that we wanted. Maybe we want to look at all of these suppliers together. And all of these columns you can hide per user. So if you don't want them to see the value of the order, or the cost centers departments, or the user-defined fields, etc., you can hide all those off. You can also split the orders into different tabs, so by cost center department or tag number. So if you're using tag numbers for indicating what day of the week it's going to be booked in or out, what courier it's going to go out on, or the type of service, courier service it is, then you can split these orders into different tabs. You can drill down into the order by double clicking to see the detail of the order, what's being delivered so far, what's outstanding, and what's been picked, etc. All on there. We can find products quite easily from there if you've got a long order. But this also shows the outstanding percentage that's left to come in. So if you see that something's 0% or 1%, and you want to clear those off, you can also do that in this software. There is a cancel order option. Obviously that button will be hidden for most of the users. But if you want to maintain your daybook a little bit easier, a little bit better, then you can highlight the order, click the cancel order option, and then that will auto write off, put it into the history, and put into the notes who's cancelled the order off. And you can also multi-select the orders and do that in bulk if you wanted to. So you can manage your daybook a lot easier. You can see more advanced information on the daybook, the columns that you want to see, and you can split orders by tag, and also you've got the filtering on there. So that's the sort of introduction to the goods in. We presented with the orders. Now I want to book in the orders. So I've got this order here that I put on today. This one dated well, I've copied it actually. So from the last demo. So we got here one battery. This is a standard FIFO item. This is a serial batch item, and then we've got two more batteries there, which are FIFO items. So there is various different ways of booking the order in. The most common way is to select the order, and you can multi-select orders using the Control Shift buttons. And anything that's got selected on it will go on to a Windows scanner. So we do download, and we choose what scanner we want to put it on. So each of your handhelds are numbered with a unique number or name. So I'm going to put it on handheld 10, and then that sends the one or more orders to the scanner. So here I've got a Windows scanner, so it's just sending those orders off. And on the Windows scanner, this particular scanner I've got on my desk here is one of these scanners, and these can either be a QWERTY keyboard version or a numeric keyboard version, which you don't have to use the keyboard. It's all designed to be large buttons, easy to use, and touch screen. But if you do need to manually input maybe a serial number or batch number, then you would choose the type of scanner that best suits that particular number, whether it's numbers or letters. So they're both the same price. It's just a case of choosing one that you see in the future being more useful to you. So on my scanner here, I've got the different modules on there, and we're going to go into the goods in manager. So we go to the goods in manager, and here we can exit back to the main menu. We could remove the orders off the scanner, just the scanner only, not on the Exchequer or anything. We can see how many orders we've got on there, or we can do continue. So if we do continue, we can see here the order that I downloaded, the 603, purchase order 603, and we've got various information on that order there. We can scan the purchase order number at this point, or we can go to book in, and we can scan the login for the user, or we can use the touch screen to type on the password, or you can turn this off altogether if you don't want someone to log in. We then see the lines of the purchase order, the Exchequer purchase order, and there's various different layouts of the columns, the order of the columns, and various different ones. So you don't have to scan in any particular order. You could be scanning the bottom item first. You know, it doesn't matter what order you scan it in, but you can scan it in. If you haven't got a barcode for it, then you can use the button here to book it in. Obviously, you want to try and scan everything you can, but sometimes the items that come in, maybe they haven't got a barcode at that point. I'll show you a way of printing off some barcodes after this handheld demo. So we can either scan the item or click the book in button, and this can work in various different ways. We can have it showing the calculator screen where we can clear that and put in the actual quantity that's been delivered, or we can have it increment as we scan. So we scan the items and it adds them together, whether they're in units, box units, pallet units, or in singles. So you just scan in, you don't see the screen at all. So whatever best suits your particular products, I think. If you're doing a lot of batteries, for example, then maybe you don't want to scan every single item. You want to use this calculator screen. Now, depending on how the product is set up in Exchequer, the software works in different ways. So if it's a serial batch item, then it will ask for the user to capture that data. If it's a multi-bin item in Exchequer, then it will ask for what bin it's gone into, or it can default into a default bin location that you could transfer out of later. So maybe like a yard or a quarantine location that you've got in there, and then you move it out of there with a stop transfer. So we book in that item, 2 serial numbers this time. So it's asking for the serial number, which you can obviously scan. You can type it in on the touch screen, or use that keyboard on the scanner. So I'm just going to put in there 2 serial numbers, and it can capture things like use by dates if you want to in there. That's completely optional. If you don't have a particular item that needs to capture that information, then that can be turned off. So there we have the alarm system, and in any order, we scan the item and confirm the quantity. So scan the item, confirm the quantity, and we can obviously change the quantity if it's different, if you allow that. There is settings for tolerance levels. So if it's gone over 30%, then you can get it to show a warning or to stop the user altogether. It's either a warning or a stopping system. So you can add in tolerances to capture general mistakes. When you finish the order, we go back out of there, we flag the order as finished, and it gives you a warning if it wasn't fully matched up. Then we can move on to the next order. If you downloaded one or more orders, more than one order onto the scanner, you could book all of those orders in at that time. If you're finished, we can go back to the main menu, and we just press back to the PC now, or back to upload. And on here, it says, would you like to sync device 10? That's the device that's in the Cradle. So we sync that. It shows the information on the screen, on the upload screen here. So you can check what you've done if you want to. By double clicking, you can see the line information. You can see what information you captured. Anything in bold is where you haven't got a match in quantity. And you can make amendments at this point if you wanted to. If you allow the user to do that, with these buttons can all be hidden or enabled per user. So in here we confirm what we've captured, whether they're serial information, whether they're bin information, multi-bin information. We can all capture that. You can capture bin numbers on the serial record itself, so you can have a multi-bin and a serial batch environment. So we process that. That disappears from there. Then we post, next button down, post, which converts the purchase order to a purchase delivery note. It can optionally print off a form design of your choice. I haven't got that enabled. Most people don't on the goods in. It's more applicable on the goods out. But if you need to print anything out, you can. And that's created purchase delivery note 668. So if I go to Exchequer and go to the delivery notes, we see at the bottom there 668. We have the battery, the alarm system in there with the serial numbers that we captured in there, and the other alarms, 2 batteries in there that we captured. One quantity more than was required is booked in. So that's all booked into stock. That's increased your stock levels on Exchequer, ready for you to go and process it out. If we do refresh on this screen, then that can clear the order if it's been fully booked in, or if it's gone into the history, it will no longer be on this list. If there's still an outstanding item somewhere, then it will still show it on the list. You can obviously cancel that order off if you wanted to. Use the cancel button there to clear that. Okay, so that's one way of booking in. If you wanted to print labels, as I mentioned, you can use the print labels option, which will take the highlighted order and show you on this grid all of the lines on the order, and you can change the quantity that you want to print off. You can decide whether you want the item or not printed, and these can be defaulted from user-defined fields. If there is a section of products that you don't have barcodes for, you could set that up in your user-defined fields on the stock record, and then it will automatically tick which lines you do need and you don't need on there. And the print quantity can be based on the received quantity or the outstanding quantity. And this will print a product label, which you can design in Form Designer, so you can add all of your stock information, all of your barcode information on there, stock code, description, user-defined field maybe to show some other information, the brand or whatever. And you select your label printer or your A4 printer, and then go off to print that, and then that will come off on your label printer there. So that's a nice little option there for printing labels if you need to do labels. If you need to just print the order off before you book it in for viewing the order, you can print a form design out on there using that button. And another way of booking in is to use the booking desk. So throughout this whole software, you don't have to have one of these Windows scanners. If there is certain cases where you can just use the PC to book it in, you can use a scanner if you want to. You can use one of these, as I call them, the Tesco Club Card scanners, or the wireless version of that. You can use that with a computer or a laptop to book in, depending on your product. That can suit some companies. So to do that, we do the booking desk, and that brings the order up on the screen. So then we can start typing the stock code or barcode of the item, and you plug in the quantity. If you haven't got any barcode for the item, you can highlight the line and do quantity to book in and put in the quantity, or you can show the barcode box and then carry on scanning away. If it's an item not found, it will tell you in there. So you basically book everything in. If it's a serial item, then it will ask you for the serial number still. For booking one of those, plug in the serial number, and okay, set up to do the expiry date in there. So there we go, and then we can finish that, process that, and post that to a delivery note. Now all of those buttons I pressed on the upload screen and the post screen, they can all happen in one button click if you want it to. I'm just doing it separately because it may be different departments doing the different activities, so it can be one click if you want to. So there we booked in another order in there. So that really completes the goods in manager. There is a third way of booking in, but only a few sites using that really. It's where you can not download any purchase orders to the scanner, and you scan everything that's come off a container, for example, with different purchase order numbers maybe. You scan everything, you build up a list on the scanner, you upload it to the software, and then you allocate each line to purchase orders on the system, and there is features in there to help you allocate, find the oldest, or to allocate across the lines, and then you post it as I showed you there to deliver those orders. So that's more suitable for sites with everything is 100% barcoded, and you have maybe an order come in and it's got a whole mixture of different purchase order numbers that it covers. So that's another way of booking in using the Windows scanner. But the sort of standard way is downloading the purchase orders to the scanner or using the desk system. So that's the goods in manager. So we now move on to some other areas of the software. So we'll go on to stock transfers. So maybe we've booked it in, but we want to move the stock now to a different area. So we go to the stock transfer manager for that. And there's two main ways of doing stock transfers. We can use the transfer desk. So this is where we're moving stock maybe from one warehouse to another warehouse. And each of these locations you can hide per user. So if you're not authorized to move stock to the van or the goods returns, then you can hide these off. So it reduces the amount of errors on stock transfers. You only get the locations you want. You can scan these locations from a sheet if you wanted to. And you scan the item and confirm the quantity that you're moving. So you just very quickly do enter. It keeps these defaults in place. So then you can move on to the next item, type or scan the barcode or stock code, confirm the quantity, enter, and then it processes that. You can also do stock reductions or stock increases. Each of these buttons can be hidden per user. So if you're not authorized to increase your stock value or decrease your stock value, you can turn those off. If you're doing the stock movements only, then you just keep that one on. It also works with job costing. If you're using job costing, you can move stock into a job or out of a job or job to job. So that it supports the serial numbers and the multi-bin numbers. If you're moving stock from one bin to another bin, or you're moving your serial item around to a different warehouse, maybe you can do that. You can use these touchscreen quantities if you want to, or they can be hidden. So it's a very easy way of doing stock transfers. This is using the desk system, so it's whether you're using the keyboard or you're using the club card scanner or the wireless scanner for doing that. You can obviously use the Windows scanner as well. So if you're moving around the warehouse and you want to do your transfers, you can go to the stock transfer manager, do continue, log in to the system, and then you can scan your item or manually type it in, confirm the warehouse that you're going out of, which you can default, confirm the warehouse you're going into, which you can default, and then confirm the quantity that you're moving. And this can obviously work like the goods in, where it's you have the calculator screen or you have the automatic increment option. When you've defaulted particular screens like the out and the in, you can turn on this auto option. So then when you scan an item, it then skips any screen that you defaulted. So then it goes to the particular screen that you didn't default. I didn't default the quantity screen in there, so I can just confirm the quantity and do OK. You can default the quantity if you're always doing units or for a particular amount. So if I turn that back off, then it would go through each of those screens again and I can change the defaults. So whether you're using the Windows scanner or the desk system, it's very easy to use system in there. When you've finished doing your transfers, you see the information on the step 5, the awaiting transfer in there, and we can process all or process the row. We can put a particular row record on hold if we wanted to. But just do process. You can capture a reason code, a reference or reason code, which you could scan from a sheet. Maybe it's a standard transfer or breakage or quarantine problem issue. You can scan or type the reason, which goes into Exchequer, into the field, into the URF field, so you can do reports on that. So that's gone into Exchequer. If we go to the stock transfer option, we can see there the transfer in the reference there, EWS, and there's all of our adjustments in there, all the adjustment lines. It makes sure that the out cost is the same as the in cost always, so there's always matches up. And you've got in there who's done the transfer, the person who's done the transfer in the user defined field, and you've got your reason code in there in the URF field. So that's stock transfers. Now we're moving on to the stock taking. So in this option, it works with the Exchequer stock taking system. So in Exchequer, you've got the stock list, what the third tab along is stock taking. And in here, you can show different lists per location. So you filter list by your location, maybe it's the main warehouse, AAA. And you would freeze your stock, whether you can do it at the same point as you do currently, whether that's at the beginning of your stock check or at the end of your stock check. You carry on doing that exactly the same. And that makes the actual figure the same as the in-stock figure initially. So on EWS, you can use the desk system or the handheld. If I start with the handheld, we go to the stock take manager, and in here we can clear a previous stock check, which is password protected, or do continue. If we log into the software, we can choose what warehouse we want to do our stock check on. We can capture multiple warehouses on the same scanner, but this is like a default of where you want it to default to for this particular session. We could log back off and log back in to change the default if we wanted to. But we're going to do the main warehouse this time. So then we're starting off with a blank screen. So we scan the item, and again we can have the calculator screen or not show this screen at all, where it increments automatically each time. This is where it defaults, so we could change it per scan if we wanted to, but you'd obviously set it initially and keep that default in place. You confirm the quantity. It can capture things like bin numbers if you're a multi-bin environment, or even if you're not a multi-bin environment, it can update your bin location on your stock record or on your location stock record if you want it to. So we scan the item. You can have things like warnings. If you scan the same item more than once, then it can have a warning in place. It can pop up the quantity that you've already got currently live in stock if you want it to. I know some companies want to show that information and some don't, because they think their user will just type in the same quantity as what it is at the moment. So we plug in the quantity there. So you're building up a list of records. So you'd probably allocate these scanners to particular aisles of your warehouse. If you're doing a large full-scale stock check, you would say, this scanner, you do aisle A, B, C. Scanner number 2, you do D, E, F, etc. So you cover your warehouse. You can obviously do a smaller stock check if you want to each week or each month. You can just scan those items, and it will not change any of the other items stock quantity. It will just do the items that you scanned in there. So confirm your quantity. So you're building up a list of what you stock checked. We then send that back to the PC. We do a sync there to bring the information back. Number 10 there, stock take manager. And all the information will go to, in number 4, the hot sync tab. Let's see. Okay, number 4 there we have the information. We've got the time and the date of every single scan in the system, so you can see who's done the stock counts on that particular record and the time and the date. We accept that, and that moves to the main store. So this is where all of the information will end up from all your scanners, still in its separate form if you've got the same stock code. We can export that information into Excel in summary or detailed form. So if I go to summary, this is where it would total up the quantity, overall quantity, and the quantity per warehouse. If we've got more than one on the scanner, it would put the information going across here. Some sites will then use OLE to finish the stock check. They will bring through the frozen quantity, do the differences, and then save the data back into the actual column in Exchequer once they've completed their rechecks or whatever. So you can use Excel if you want to finish the job. So it saves you basically typing up all the sheets, and you're using the accuracy of barcoding to capture the data. Or you can send it directly into Exchequer using the End Stock Val button, and that sent it to the actual column in there. So if we now go to Exchequer, find one of those batteries, we can see we have in bold anything that's changed from the before and after in there, and we can obviously make amendments in Exchequer as well. We could run reports on the differences on the valuation value before and after to see what value change there will be once we processed it. So the process button would make those figures live. It would do the stock adjustment as you currently do in Exchequer, and that's it. There is another way in EWS of doing the stock checking. You can count by list. So this is where you would have a to-do list on the scanner of what you need to go and stock check, and you work your way around the to-do list. So the to-do list would be whatever's in the first grid here. So in here you can have all of your stock, or from a stock tree selection, preferred supplier, stock code range, and we could put in some other options in there if there's any that's not showing there. But you show the stock that you want to see, maybe the batteries from the stock tree there, and then that list will be on the scanner to go and stock check, and then you get like a to-do list of what you need to go and stock check. You can import from CSV a list of the items that you want to stock check. So maybe you've got a report or spreadsheet that works out which stock items to go and check this week or this month. Maybe you've got a user-defined field that you're using for the week number or the month number, and then you import that into here, and that's your to-do list of what you need to go and stock check for that particular week. So you can work it like that as well. So you can either have the blank screen, you go around and capture everything, or you have a to-do list. If you're not using the window scanner, you can use the count desk. So some sites, what they do is they print off. They still like using paper for stock checks. They print off from Form Designer, Visual Form Writer, the stock list of what the particular group they're doing, or the particular just live products with stock, or not take out discontinued products, etc. And you can actually put a barcode on the report. So they would fill in the stock count. You would come back to the PC, and then you would scan the particular code and the quantity that you've got on the sheet. So you just work your way down the sheet. So if you've got a remote location, you don't want to give them a scanner, you just want to give them some sheets. They go and fill in the sheets, and then you bring it back to the PC, and then you fill in the information. So you may see this in the co-op. They use this particular setup where they print off a report, they go around their shop, count the items, they go back to the till, and then they update the stock on the till. They got a barcode on the report for each line. So that can be useful for some companies, that particular option. So that's the stock taking. Now we're moving on to the Goods Out Manager. So with the Goods Out Manager, you click on the Goods Out, you click Refresh, and this can list the outstanding sales orders on your system. Bear in mind you could have the filtering on there, so for a particular warehouse filtering or cost center or department filtering, user-defined field, tag number filtering. So you could just see the orders you want them to see. Maybe at this point it could be a sales manager or warehouse manager looking at all the orders on the system, but then other users could have the filtering of the orders that you've told them to go and pack. So you can have this very, very, very flexible software. We've got here the order number, the due date, the account code, company name, the value. You can obviously hide the value, cost centers, departments, tag numbers, your ref, the percentage that is ready to go out, which I'll show you next, the status within Exchequer. It also brings through the customer status as well. So if a customer's on hold or closed, it will also show you on there, and it won't allow, if you want it to, it won't allow orders to be processed if the customer's on hold. So if you've forgotten to put the order on query hold, then it will still stop the orders going out. You've got the status within this module, user-defined fields, the units, the lines on the outstanding, the alt ref code, whether it's a full or back order, so whether it's been partly shipped or it's a new order, and all the user-defined fields. And there's a whole load more columns, probably another 10, 15 more columns that could be added to this daybook if you wanted to. You can sort these columns by any of these fields if you want to look at the same company together. But by default, the oldest order is at the top, going down to the newest order. This is particularly important when on this next option, the calculate option. You can calculate orders, selected orders, all orders, or all orders except the orders on hold. So if you want to concentrate your stock on a particular key customer, you could use the selected orders maybe. If you're doing the all orders, you can calculate based on quantity or value. So if you only want to just concentrate your stock on getting orders out 100%, you're not too worried about whether they're the oldest or the newest. You just want to get all the orders out 100%, you can set it to 100%. If you want to only ship orders that are a value of £50 or above, then you could maybe do it by value. You can do a date range, so there's no point calculating orders after tomorrow's date, for example. You could put that in, and you can even do a what if. So if you know you've got some stock coming in to stock next week, you can paste from Excel the stock code and quantity of what's coming in, and then it will include that on the calculation, so you can sort of plan ahead for what's going to be expected to be processed next week, next month on your list, and it tells you the value of those orders expected to be dispatched. So we do the calculate, and you see a percentage from the top, the oldest orders at the top going down. So this order has got 100% in stock. This order has taken into account the products of the order above it, and it's returning 0%. This order, taking into account these two orders, it's got 100% going down. So you can see the percentage as you go down. You could obviously sort this column, get the hundreds together, and process those ones. So at this particular setup, it hasn't done anything in Exchequer. It's done its own internal calculation, going down depending on the order of these daybook. You can get it to pick the orders as you do the calculate, so it works like the pick and list run option in Exchequer. If you want to reserve the stock, it completely in Exchequer. This obviously is reserving the stock as well, because you've got the oldest order at the top, you're doing your calculate, and the oldest order will always get the priority as you go down. So it's like doing a pick in this run, but you're not. But you can still get it to pick the order if you want it to. So once you've worked out which orders you want to dispatch, this little calculate tool can help you with that. You can then move the status along if you want to. You can obviously put it on the scanner if you want to, but if that's not your job, if your job is just working out what orders to dispatch, then you could just move the status along to maybe await packing, and then the other user in the warehouse could just see those orders on that particular status. They wouldn't see all of the orders on Exchequer, they would just see the orders that they need to pack that day or that week. So that can be a very useful tool there. Whether this person does the handheld or not, you can build in a workflow in, the goods out, and the works orders. So however you want to work. You could print a paper picking list at this point if you want to. So you've worked out these orders, you then process them and it prints off a picking list. You get it to print a picking list and put it on the scanner. You could get it just to put it on the scanner. So lots of flexibility in the software there. So I put on this order today for some batteries. So I'm going to just select that order and do download. You can get it to pop up the notes. So the goods in and the goods out have a note system where you can, if you use the notes, maybe it says do not dispatch on a Wednesday, so you could then unselect it and not process it. It can show you per user. This is completely optional. You don't have to get it to do this. You can get it to show particular notes. Even you can download the notes on the scanner as well. Do continue for each order that you want to process. I've selected 2 orders, so we're going to put it on handheld number 10. So that downloads the orders. Now, if it's detected that I've put some orders on the handheld, but I haven't processed them, so it just gives me a warning there that I haven't done that. So that's fine, I know about that. I was just testing the demo. So we put those orders onto the scanner, and the synchronization speed is very similar if you're doing 2 orders or you're doing 50 orders. It's fairly similar in speed there. So the status has gone to being processed, but these can be changed in the settings. So it could be await dispatch for some other team of people to process. Now on the particular handheld, we go to the Goods Out Manager, and in here we can remove the orders, see how many orders are on there, continue. So we got there, the order there I put on today. You can log in for traceability of who's done the order. So if I click there, you could scan your login, do OK. As I mentioned, the notes can be on the scanner. Now, as I copied this order earlier, there is a note entry for that. So it's just showing me any notes that I've got there. You can add notes as well. So the information on the order is on this scanner. This columns can be changed if your stock code is more important than description, for example, or you don't use bin numbers. You can change this order. Now you can scan an item, or you can allow manual processing. So if you haven't got a barcode, you can click the process button to process that. Now you can obviously turn that off if you want everybody to scan everything out, because you've got greater accuracy in the software if you're scanning. Now if you scan the wrong item, and it tells you by voice that you scanned the wrong item in there, so it also shows it on the screen. So if I just, it tells you by voice that you can change the voice files as well in the settings. So like TomTom, you can change the voice to you can record your own. So you can say whatever language you want to say that they picked up the wrong item, please do not put it in the box. So you go around, you process these items. You can do things like do not allow overpacking, or you can allow it. This particular setup, I've got it on, that you can have a warning or stop them in there. And as I mentioned, you can turn off manual processing, so you've got to scan everything. If it's a serial item, then it will ask you for which serial number that you want to process. It will give you a list of serial items, and you can scan one of those serial numbers or select it on the screen. When you finish that, you can mark that as finished. It can automatically do that as well. You can get things like information on the order showing up on the handheld, the address, etc. You can get it to show the user-defined fields. I haven't got any filled in, but if you had some user-defined field information in there, plugged in about what courier that you want them to use, or what service type, next Saturday delivery or something, then you could it would show it on this button there. And then you move on to the next order, so you can load more than one order onto the scanner, and then you scan the item, confirm the quantity that you're booking out, and gives you a warning there that I haven't picked all the items. You can get it also to hide the line as you process it. So if you fully picked the line, it will hide that line. You then end up with blank on the order, and you can obviously toggle to see the lines again if you want to. But then that can be a good way of just making sure that you've processed every line, because it disappears off the order. So we go back out there, and we upload that back on the PC. And there, so number 10, yes, sync number 10. So we just process that. And we see on the upload window all the orders that we're going to process. If you want to check what you've done, you can do on this screen. You can double click and check the lines if you want to. You can make amendments to the quantity on there. That one I've overpacked, so it's in bold. Yeah, I can adjust that back if I've got access to that button there. So then we could do process all. That clears from there. And I've got auto post on, so it's automatically going to the post option, which converts the sales order number to delivery notes. So I'm processing there the delivery notes and to the particular printer. And we'll see the screen there, and showing me the courier plugin, which we're going to move on to now. So there's the delivery note. I've added a barcode onto the delivery note form because the courier plugin, you can scan the delivery note from the sheet if you use the courier system from a different as a different process, or you can get it to fire up the courier plugin automatically. So for each order that you're processing, you can get it to fire up this courier plugin. So this is a separate plugin called Courier Pro, which one plugin can link to 16 or so different courier companies. If you only use one or two particular couriers, then you can disable all of the others so you don't see them. And you can get it to automatically select the correct courier based on a user-defined entry that you've put on. If when they added the sales order, for example, they put on their CityLink, or when they use the scanner, you can get it to capture user-defined fields, and maybe they scanned DHL, so then it would automatically choose DHL when you got to this particular screen. So when you've got your particular courier, all of these rows will be defaulted in the setup of Courier Pro where possible. So things like the address. So it takes this address from Exchequer. So as long as you're updating Exchequer with the delivery addresses, then it will use that address. So unlike a courier system that has a separate database of courier addresses that maybe gets out of date, or the user could accidentally type in the wrong account code quite easily and the delivery goes to the wrong address, then that eliminates that. This will always go to the correct address in there. The number of labels, okay, that can pick up from the scanner if you want it to. The service, this can be picked up from stock codes on the transaction, or even the user-defined fields on the header, the particular service, whether it's next day, 2-day delivery, etc. Or you can get the user to have a drop-down box like this, where you choose the selection. The country, this can be defaulted if you've got the ISO code somewhere on the customer record or on the transaction, or you can just enable the countries that you ship to, or you can find it each time. The weight, this can be automatically calculated from the shipped lines multiplied by the intrastat sales weight, and then they could obviously, maybe it defaulted to 25 and they could override it to the actual figure. And any other information that you want to give to the courier company, maybe there's an email address or SMS number that you want to give to the courier company each time, whether that's from a user-defined field or the customer record. So you can start maybe giving them, the courier can enable some tracking information that's automatically sent to that customer with a time slot or a link to the tracking information on their website. And any other bespoke information there. So I've just added a column. You could add some other columns if there is some other bespoke information that you need to capture in there. That could go to a different file. This exports to the courier system, whether that's in CSV, XML, web services, text file, fixed text, or comma separated, etc. So anything that needs to be filled in, you've got to fill in there. So you would try and structure your addresses where possible to meet your courier's requirements. Maybe they need a town, or they got to have a postcode, it's separate field, or etc. So you'd fill in that information. That goes off to the courier system, and normally in a couple of seconds the label will export. So this is the other shipment that I've done, the second one. So you choose your courier, their weight, service key, and this particular courier needs a service key, so we send. So that's gone to the courier system. So it's a nice, easy plugin, and it can be used in Exchequer as well. If you want to, if you're not quite ready for EWS, but you want to start using the courier system, then you can, from here, you can enable this courier button to export that SDN that I highlighted to the courier company, or you can have the button inside of the SDN. We've got the courier button there, so we can do it from there. So you can do it inside Exchequer. You can use it as a standalone application as well. So you don't need to be in Exchequer, you don't need to be in EWS. You can select your company, type or scan the SDN number. So that's why I mentioned about the barcode on the SDN. So maybe someone prints off the SDNs, comes over to a computer, then you scan the delivery notes, the barcode at the top, and then that brings up the same screen that I had. If you haven't got a barcode, you can just type the SDN number, SDN 01205 in this case, and that brings up the same plugin. So it's the same application, whether you're doing it in Exchequer, whether you're doing it as a standalone application or embedded inside EWS dispatch process. It's the same application. So once you've bought it, you can start using it as a standalone and then use it in EWS later if you want to, or buy it within EWS if you want to, and then use it later on if you want to as standalone. So the setup of the Courier plugin, it's designed to be flexible in that we can add couriers fairly easily. If it's designed in the same sort of way as the other couriers, then we can add it in very quickly. If it's a completely different design, we can still do it, but it may take a bit longer to implement. And as you can see, there's various options for things like linking back the tracking number into Exchequer, into the notes or user-defined field, the tracking number, the you can print off form designs or labels. If you've got a particular courier, maybe a pallet courier, the systems maybe not as advanced as the normal couriers. So you just wanted to print off an A4 sheet with the information on it, then you could use the form designer to design that layout, and then use this to print off a form design or a label design with a barcode or however the specification is that you've designed. You can get it to do that. You can get it to email somebody the consignment. And each of the couriers there, they've got their own particular requirements in what needs to be exported, whether that's a selection type that you can build lists into I've updated the version. I didn't update the database. So you can build in particular lists in this software using a selection list or a text box, and you can say whether it is a user input, whether they're forced to input in the information, and that can be shown in a particular color, whether that's in yellow in my case there. So they're not allowed to continue until they've completed that in. Whether you want to zero pad it, so if it is a field that they should fill in, but if they haven't, you can get it to complete that with some blanks or dashes. You can hide a particular row. So if the courier company requires the account code, your contract number or something for the courier, but you don't want the user to see that, it's not necessary, then you can hide that row. And then you can choose whether you want to export that information to the courier and which particular file you want to export it to. And you can have different particular files, loads of unlimited different files there. So you could capture information for your own particular analysis of how many parcels you're processing each month to what countries, etc. So you can maybe negotiate a better rate or with other couriers. You can copy profiles. When you set one up, you can copy it to a different one. If you've got different departments or maybe completely different settings for different overseas or UK and Ireland, etc., so different defaults in place, then you can copy it in there and just enable those ones that you need. So that's the Courier Pro setup, and so it's a separate plugin. As you've seen, you can embed it inside this dispatch process. You can also run the courier from here as well, the button where you can scan or type the SDN number. If you didn't know the information at the time of doing the SDN, you can do it at the time later on, whether that's inside EWS or as a separate program. So just to finish off the goods out manager, you can print labels like the goods in. You can print particular labels, the same sort of module there. You can print off a different form to the goods in one, whether you could use the same product label form if you want to. You can print off a picking list if you want to, or any particular form like a gathering sheet or just a sales order confirmation sheet. You can print that from this software. You can multi-select orders and do a consolidated picking list. So whether you want to, first of all, gather the stock, you don't want to use the scanner for that for a particular reason. You want to just go and gather these orders stock into one area, and then maybe use the desk system or the scanner for picking. You can use the consolidated list there for that if you want to. In there, you can also do that in Excel. Export those orders into Excel for these orders, these products here. Consolidated. You can set tag numbers. So quite a few people are using tag numbers for different reasons. Maybe these 3 orders are urgent, so maybe call them tag 99. So you can multi-select orders and tag orders in there, and then you can sort orders into different tabs here. So you've got there the maybe 99 is urgent tag. So you can process those ones first, and then you move on to the other orders. Maybe use tag numbers to indicate the day of the week. So that's going out on a Wednesday, that's going out, ship that out Thursday, or this one is today, or T2 is tomorrow, etc. So you can use the tag numbers, and you can multi-select orders and use the tag in here, and those tags will now be set in Exchequer. The notes screen, you can show the notes for the order. You can add notes and edit notes onto the order, and that goes onto the Exchequer notes in there. So you can see all the notes, and you can hide notes per user if you don't want them to see the customer base notes, for example. The cancel order option in there. So if you know that a particular order is not required anymore, the customer don't need the order anymore, or it's a balance order that's for discontinued items that you're never going to get in anymore, then you could cancel that order off, like the goods in there. So obviously most people wouldn't have access to that button, just the managers, etc. You can drill down into the order by double clicking. You can edit, if you allow people to do it, you can edit the location code on all the lines or just the line. So maybe when you type on the sales order, you don't know the location code, but further down the line, you do know the location code, so then you can edit the warehouse code on the line or all the lines. You can edit the picked quantity manually doing there, or you can auto pick, unpick all in there. And the other way of processing orders is using a desk system. So if I just find an order that I need to process, so this order here, I can use the desk system like the goods in manager. It shows the order on the screen. If I scan the wrong item, then it tells you there. You can play a voice file at this point as well. I just got a ding on there. You've got to click the bar to continue. So we pack those items. It plays a voice file when you've processed that. So item not found. If you haven't got a barcode for an item, then you highlight the line and do quantity packs there, put in your quantity, and you can do serial numbers if you scan the serial number in there. Now, if you accidentally forgotten to pack one item, there's various options in the system for warning the user or stopping them from processing altogether. So it's up to you how you want to set that up. On this one, I've got here just a warning, one or more stock items not being picked. So I can just continue with that, I know about that. And then that will convert that to a delivery note. If you want it to, it can automatically do it. That prints off the delivery note and then links to the courier system for doing the label. So you just complete any blanks on the courier label, click send, and that prints off the label. So that is the goods out manager on there. And then the new module that is being sold for sites from the end of January onwards is the works order module. So this works in a very similar way to the goods out and the goods in. I won't go into too much detail at this point on this, but just to show you the daybook, you can still do the filtering by tag number, by location, cost centers, departments. You can drill down into the works order to see the items on there, and then it's a case of putting that onto the scanner and then processing the lines. You can use a gathering system for doing just the components only, and then the second phase is doing the finished good item. So it works in a similar way to the other modules, downloading works orders or scanning on the scanner without having the works order on the scanner, and then uploading to the system for picking the finished good items on there. So that's the works order module. Other areas of the software, we have the alternative barcode database. So if you've got more than one barcode, or you've got a supplier barcode and you want to start using their barcodes, you can use this database of unlimited amounts of alternative barcodes. So if you've got, this is the barcode in Exchequer for a particular battery, you could have this barcode, this barcode, this barcode, these particular barcodes, and they could be in units, whether that's a pallet barcode or a box barcode or in singles. You can scan any one of these barcodes now, and it will recognize it's the 2A battery. So that can be useful. That's for sites that maybe have one stock item, but they source it from 3 different companies, and they all got different barcode numbers on the same product. Then you could scan any one of those barcodes to represent your one item barcode that you've got in Exchequer. You can import this list from CSV, Excel CSV, or you can get it to automatically link to a spreadsheet. So you maintain a spreadsheet of your alternative barcodes, and every time you do a sync with the Windows scanner, it takes this data all from the spreadsheet and puts it onto the scanner. So then you're always up to date in the alternative barcode database. So just to go through the other options that are in the software, just quickly to finish off now, we have barcode decoding. So this is where one barcode can contain multiple bits of information. The system does support 2D barcodes as well. So we have sites using 2D barcodes where maybe all the serial numbers and all the information on quantity, stock codes are all in one barcode, like the QR barcodes you see. The 2D barcodes have got all the information in one scan. But if you're using normal traditional 1D barcode, then it's possible to put in there more information on that barcode, such as the serial batch number, quantity barcode into there, and there's various options to say where is this second bit of information. Is it after a particular character, or is it after a fixed length of time of the characters? This is to do with the alternative barcode database for linking to spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheet, or internal, or whether it downloads to the scanner and generates that each day. We have a system for synchronizing over the internet, whether that's through FTP or our own internal cloud sync or VPN. So if you've got external sites, do you want to use the Windows scanners? Using the desk system is not an issue. You can use that with no other options. But if you've got external sites and you want to use the Windows scanners to synchronize, then you'd enable a particular synchronization method in there. As I mentioned, you can have voice prompts. So if you scan the wrong item or you've gone over quantity, you can put in your own voice prompts and things. And then the software's got various, quite a few options per module in there for different sites that have been developed over the years, whether you can create transactions on the scanner, creating purchase orders, sales orders, returns, etc. You can book it in by tag number. You can, on the goods out, you can capture a packing list, for example. So You can say what maybe what box the item's gone into, or what pallet the items have gone into. So each item that you put into a box, you say what box number it's gone into, and then it prints off a packing list at the end at the same time as doing the delivery note. So that can save a lot of administration time that some sites do a packing list for maybe overseas orders, and they do it all, retype it all in Excel. So you can do that on the scanner itself. You can obviously link it to the Courier Pro. You just tell it the location of Courier Pro, and then whether you want that enabled. The bin locations, the multi-bin locations, there's various options for that for the goods out manager, whether it allocates bin numbers that you need to go to. It has got its own internal allocation system on there. Whether you want to download the notes to the scanner, and what notes, the dated notes, general notes, etc. Whether the notes have got to match a particular character that you start it with. And you can do things like delivery scheduling. So you can work with things like invoices, sales invoices, and you can schedule orders for delivery to particular sequences that you capture, and you print off a delivery scheduling sheet for to give to the drivers to say where they need to go to, with addresses on each, whether they need to collect any cash, etc. So there is quite a big system on that for delivery scheduling, printing off labels, etc. to go on the boxes. We've linked in the past to particular packing machines, details about the orders and things. So there's quite a few, as you can see, there's quite a bit of flexibility put into the software, and we can obviously extend it to, if there's anything that's missing that you need there, we can put in. When you exit, it asks you, do you want to back up your software? So you keep so many copies like some other software, financial software. It just keeps a quick backup just in case you know, the server goes down, whatever. Then you've got a more real-time backup of your software. And to finish off now, we've got the info bar software, and this is applicable in this WebEx because the next version will link to EWS. But as you see at the moment, it is still a handy tool. So it loads when you turn on the computer. The bar goes on the screen there. You can move the bar anywhere on the screen, and it will always stay on top of any program that you've got loaded. So you don't have to be in Exchequer to use it. You can program it to look at any transaction type. So whether they're sales orders, delivery notes, credit notes, money in, purchase orders, purchase delivery notes, you can get it to show in almost real time. So if I add a sales order, so I just put in there the sales order, put in there an item, almost in real time, it shows you there the order coming on. So anywhere on the system, people adding orders to there, you see there the value 356 there coming on. If I copy that a few times, that shows there. If I authorize that and tick that, deliver. So delivery notes, invoices, credit notes, any sort of transaction type you can show on the bar. Very, very useful for the finance team, for managers, directors. But the next version, as I mentioned, will show, you can get it to show EWS information. So things like number of orders currently on scanner 4, number of orders being processed, number of orders await processing, number of orders being picked, etc. So that will show up on the scanner as well, or on the bar even. You've got an info button here which can be turned off or enabled, and that can list sales orders by delivery, by month, by due date, delivery notes, sales delivery notes, purchase orders and purchase delivery notes. It can show what's expected to go out in that particular month, what's on query hold, and what's on back order, and that can be copied and pasted into Excel. You can do a subtotal, and you can look at these particular transaction types. So that can be useful. If you double click on the bar, you get to the configuration screen of InfoBar, and we log in to the administration, and this is where you can set the colors of the bar to your favorite color, the particular font size, so you can make it larger, smaller, the refresh interval. You can do particular filtering on the bar, so you could have maybe one bar for a particular company, a particular user-defined field, range of stock codes, location codes, departments. So you could have bars for different sales reps, for different areas of the country, for different internal salespeople, etc. You can change the text that goes before the information, and you can show particular what information you want to show there, daily, monthly, whether you want to show VAT, gross profits on there. The filtering you've got, the text that goes before it, whether you show the date, the info button on there. So this very useful bar, it's always there. It loads when you turn the computer on. It shuts down when you shut down your computer. It remembers the information that you set, the defaults in there, and it can be very useful for motivating the sales team to see where they are in a particular day or month. So that concludes the demonstration. Just to finish off now, there is a customer requirements form, which if there's any of this software of interest, you can email me for this form if you want to. If you need a quotation, then this is the information that we need, your salesperson will need to complete the price. So they will put this into the pricing calculator, and then it will return the price for a successful implementation. So the number of concurrent EWS users that you envisage using, so you plug that in, the number of those Windows scanners that you think you would need in your warehouse, the number of those desk system, those club card scanners, how many of those that you think you might need. There's no extra to use that particular part of the software. You get that software, so it's whether that will be of any use to you. We do have a wireless version of those club card scanners, these particular ones that can work about 12 meters away from the PC, 12 meters there, so you can use those. So they're quite good if you don't need to type in a quantity. You just need to scan the item, and it increments as you go on the computer. You don't have to walk back to the computer then, so you just scan all your items around the desk on your maybe dispatch desk. And whether you need training on the goods in, the goods out, stock transfers, stock taking, and works orders, yes or no. Whether you need the works order module, that is an add-on module. It's not part of the core modules that you get within EWS, the goods out, the goods in, transfers, and stock taking are core modules. This is an add-on module, so whether you need that. Whether you're interested in the Courier Pro module plugin, how many couriers you use, and what couriers do you use. So you just type in there what couriers you're using there, and whether you like the info bar, you want that on the price as well. So you complete that, and that's exactly what the salesperson will need to do a quotation on any of this software. So that concludes the demonstration of this WebEx, and as we do these WebExes every single month, we've been doing them over a year now. Whether you're an existing customer, a new customer, you can use it for retraining. You can use it for seeing if there's any new features that may be of interest. We always use the most up-to-date versions of the software each time, so you can see if there's anything applicable. So thank you very much for your time today. That concludes the demo. Any other questions, please do be in contact with your sales manager or myself, Malcolm Parker. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.